Biden's big night in Michigan. NBC News projecting that the former VP has won the Great Lakes state, delivering a potential knockout blow to Bernie Sanders.
We are live where there were long waits to vote tonight. We also have crews with both the Sanders and Biden campaigns. But first, let's get right to the numbers, and political reporter Rick Albin here now to break down how Joe Biden won Michigan tonight.
We talk a lot about what would happen with the polling. Joe Biden out by more than 20 percentage points, very much like Hillary Clinton was 4 years ago. The difference is this time the polling held up. Let's take a look. Here's the final, not the final numbers. The numbers was 65% in. You got a 54 to 38% lead with Joe Biden. We talked about needing a big double-digit win. Well, there it is. 54-38. We've still got 35% of those votes to come in. A lot of those are going to be absentees, I assume. But if this trend holds, then what we're going to see is a big night for Joe Biden and a big question mark for Bernie Sanders. If we can take a look at the county by county, I can tell you how and why this happened. We told you all of these counties, Kent, Ottawa, as well as Muskegon and Muskegon County, as well as Kalamazoo County. All of those counties went for Bernie Sanders 4 years ago. And so those are the areas where if Joe Biden was going to do what Hillary Clinton couldn't, and that is win, was going to have to be where it was going to happen. So if we start with Muskegon County, here it's 53-36. We got about 98% reporting. That's big numbers switched from 2016. Here, another 12% win in Ottawa County. Big numbers switched from 4 years ago. Here in Kent County, where Sanders is still winning, but not by nearly the percentage that he was 4 years ago. If we look in Kalamazoo, Biden is ahead. He won, Sanders that is, won big in Kalamazoo County 4 years ago. And then if we go back over to the other side of the state, and I have to switch this back over to get back to the state view, but if we go back over here, and this big swath in the east side, Washtenaw County, this was an area that Sanders won 4 years ago, and Joe Biden is winning. The other big counties, obviously, you've got Wayne County, you've got Oakland County, and you've got Macomb County. All three of those went for Clinton 4 years ago. They do the same again tonight, and that goes on up to Genesee County and on up to Saginaw. So what does this tell us? It tells us that with this big race out of the way, with Michigan going Biden, look at this. All of this blue that swings down through the South comes up over the Midwest. Only in the West where you're seeing traction out here for Biden for some of these early races. It means that now with the delegate total at 771 to 631, 140 points difference, that there have to be some real serious decisions made. Because as you move on to next week, when you get down to Florida and Illinois and Ohio and Arizona, is there any place that Bernie Sanders can hope to come up with a win? Is there a way to keep his campaign alive? Because if he doesn't have some magic in that next round, this is going to be completely out of reach for him if it isn't already. So we'll be listening carefully to what that campaign has to say starting tomorrow, and we'll also be listening for what the Biden campaign has to say about trying to stretch out this momentum. But this has been another Super Tuesday, and a Super Tuesday for Joe Biden. Brian, Susan.
Rick, thank you. Now to this scene we've been watching unfold all evening. New rules allow you to register to vote on Election Day. That change leading to major lines at the Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo City Clerk offices.
Jacqueline Francis and Kyle Mitchell have been live all night long showing us those long lines, and we want to check back in first with Jacqueline in Grand Rapids.
We met some very patient voters waiting in line at the city clerk's office in Grand Rapids here today. Just within the last hour or so, the office did close up shop after serving the last of about 300 people total today. All of those people were able to register and vote in one stop. And while that may sound quick and easy, most people waited anywhere from 2 to 3 hours in line to get this same day voter registration done. But to them, it was worth it.
I expected the line to be long, not like wrapping around long, but you know, I mean, I wasn't late for like 2 hours, you know, it's like a movie.
I'm watching The Bachelor live tonight. It's the final episode.
It's the final episode?
Yes, and I didn't want to miss the final row, so I brought my computer so I could watch it, and I have my YouTube live TV.
One problem a handful of people did run into today was that they were already registered to vote, but they didn't know it. And in those cases, even after waiting hours in line, they did get turned away, as the city clerk's office tells us that they can only accommodate certain situations like those people who needed that same-day voter registration. Reporting live in Grand Rapids, Jacqueline Francis, News 8.
Interesting. Okay, Jacqueline, thank you. Now turning our attention to Kalamazoo, Kyle Mitchell watching the long lines at the clerk's office there. Kyle?
Sue, this is the line right now. You can see it is gone. We actually just saw within the past few minutes the last voters in that line to just walk out that front door. New rules allowing voters to register the same day extended the line across the width of Kalamazoo City Hall and even outside and down the ramp. Many of the people in line were students from WMU who hadn't updated their registration to Kalamazoo. There were boxes of pizza and water sent in, people waiting in line for hours, some people waiting as much as 4 hours or more. We spoke with the last person in line, who's a student at KVCC and was here with his sister. She's 18 and voting for the first time, had an issue with her registration. They made it in line 30 seconds before the 8 p.m. cutoff.
They've been doing a really good job, actually, with the atmosphere. There's been a lot of applause and everything, people who have voted, and they've got food and water and everything. So they've been doing a really good job with that. The line has not been too bad. I've been here about 2 hours. I heard some people say they were here for about 4 hours. So it's not great, but it's been kept jovial and nice.
The clerk's office right now is working to tabulate those last voters inside here tonight. And we'll, of course, have those updated results tomorrow morning on daybreak. Reporting live in Kalamazoo, Kyle Mitchell, News 8.
Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson addressed some of this tonight. She says that Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo were not alone in this, that they were 2 of 5 communities across the state to see a huge turnout of new voters. And she says they're all ready, working on a plan to fix it for November.
East Lansing, Ann Arbor, and Dearborn also saw long wait times. Benson's office says more than 13,000 people registered today, and nearly half of those people showed up at clerk's offices after 4:30 this afternoon.
One, the fact that these citizens were bottlenecked into one location in each of their communities. They're required by law to register and vote in one location, their clerk's office. This meant the infrastructure that was set up to handle maybe 10 or 20 or 30 registrations and ballots cast in a day now had to grapple with hundreds of people showing up.
Her hope is to open additional satellite locations in communities that saw a massive turnout today so people can register quickly and legally. Our team coverage continuing right now. We're getting reaction from both Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders supporters.
Leon Hendricks is with the Sanders supporters in Grand Rapids, but first we want to go to Detroit. Heather Walker with the Biden team in the Motor City. Heather?
The crowd here cheering before Biden took the stage, speaking in Philadelphia tonight. Most of the people gathered here in Detroit at this bar just outside of the Eastern Market. They're union workers, they're iron workers in the hospitality field, and they tell me they're supporting Biden because they say he supports unions. And tonight, they listened to him speak. Here's what Biden had to say about his win.
To all those who have been knocked down, to all those who have been counted out, left behind, this is your campaign. Just over a week ago, many of the pundits declared that this candidacy was dead. Now we're very much alive.
That speech happening just minutes ago. Michigan is a big win for Biden, so what it means for Sanders, we'll have to wait and see. Reporting live in Detroit, Heather Walker, News 8.
All right, Heather, thank you for that. Now to this side of the state, and Leon Hendricks is with the Sanders supporters in Grand Rapids.
Brian, good evening to you. This is what democracy looks like, and sometimes it spells upset. That was the case for Bernie Sanders supporters today. Dozens of them gathered at a Northeast Side bar here in Grand Rapids. We'll take you inside to show you that gathering. They were hopeful toward the beginning of the evening, but that quickly waned as they watched blow after blow come to their candidates' hopes for becoming the Democratic nominee. By the end of the evening, some of them were brought to tears.
It's a very hard day. I'm 68 years old, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it. I had all my hopes here. And I love Bernie Sanders, and all those people in there do too. This is all orchestrated by somebody.
And that last thing she said there has got to be a big campaign, a big concern for the Joe Biden campaign, should he indeed become the Democratic nominee. Will they be able to garner the support of those who are following Bernie Sanders, support that they will need as they move forward, or will those supporters fall out of the process or even go for President Trump? Some of those situations, like we saw, happen in 2016. All of that remains to be seen. We are reporting live in Northeast Grand Rapids. Leon Hendricks, News 8.